How's it going, Dan?
So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is you have so many places that you're doing. I just don't understand how you can do so many different contributions, Dan. How did you get involved in some of them? The most important one to me, because Steve, it's that time of the year when Steve and I talk about charities that we like to donate to. Mm-hmm. And you have one near and dear to my heart, Gamers for Cures. How did that start?
So my daughter has Turner syndrome. And again, I started it pretty much about 4 or 5 months after I started the podcast. I was doing a Komen 5K, and I was listening to just podcasts and stuff. And I kept hearing about people doing Extra Life and playing video games for 24 hours. So I thought, well, gamers will do anything to play board games. So I was like, let me start a board gaming for 24 hours. And I thought it wasn't going to be much anything. I even thought of just doing it at work, where I would just get a couple of guys and we would just sit in a boardroom and do it. And then I approached the local Gamers Armory, who's a local FLGS, about doing it. And they thought it was a great idea. So it started pretty small. We only had probably about 20, 30 people that were doing it like overnight all the time that first year. And then we've just been doing it every year up until this year. Obviously with COVID, things have changed, but we have been doing it for 9 years. We do a 24-hour board game marathon. Marathoners make donations to play for a full 24 hours. We have what's called The Wall, where we get donations. At Gen Con, I get a ton of donations, and throughout, a lot of great publishers are just great about sending games for the charity. And we put it up on a wall, and you buy dollar tickets to put it into whatever slot you want, put your name and number on there. And we also do it online. You can get online raffle tickets, and we just play games for 24 hours. And we've made we just donate everything to charity. We do it for the Turner Syndrome Society of the Carolinas, and also for the main chapter of the US, which is down, and I believe it's San Antonio. But up to date, we've raised over $130,000 for Turner Syndrome Society, just for our charity. It's
wow, Dan, fantastic.
Thank you.
Good on you.
Over 130. That's a lot of money, Steve. 130,000.
Steve,
should we throw Topher out? He's drinking Bush beer. Everybody's talking about all these craft beers and meads, and he's drinking Bush beer.
I think the Bush beer and the ramen are enough of a punishment.
Yes, that's an interesting combo.
Dan, you talked about on the State of Game. I mean, on your show, the Geek Allstars, that with Gen Con not being around, it was a little. It made you have some pause about what to do with your Games for Cures this year. What did you decide, or do you want to wait to talk about it on the show?
No. We've. It would have actually been about a month. It's always the second weekend in November is always when Gamers for Cures is. So obviously, this year, without having a lot of donations, without being able to go to Gen Con, because between Gen Con Origins, kind of where you get all of the connections, and I drive to Gen Con up in Indy. I have an SUV like everybody, like good old suburban middle-aged man, dads. I have an SUV, so we always drive up there, and we get all sorts. I just pile up in all the donations in the back, and that's kind of how we get everything for Gamers for Cures. But this year, and I felt really bad. It's been hard enough with publishers having to deal with COVID themselves and no cons. So I didn't really want to. I didn't want to reach out and ask for handouts this year, because it's hard enough for them. So I just thought this year we'd, giving back, just doing more of, helping to advertise and to buy games ourselves more from the publishers and the FLGS to support it that way. And we'll just put off Gamers for Cures for 1 year. I thought about doing it in the spring or pushing it back, but I'm just going to push it back for a full year. And we'll have our big 10th anniversary extravaganza. We'll just have to wait another year, but we're gone, but not, we're postponed, but